Hey, it's Nickback TV.
What's up, man? It's your boy, Mr. Nickback TV, aka Blogaholic, back in the building, back in the mix. About to get into this. Stephen A. Smith, man. What's going on, man? Stephen A. Smith. I mean, I always thought this guy was funny character to me. Like, I never really take Stephen A. serious, even when he gets like emotional and quote unquote real talk. I don't look at him as being a person that I take serious. He's just entertainment. And it's funny because it's like it's getting to the point now where he actually thinks he's um more than that. Maybe he's more than that to you guys. To me, he's just a dude on TV talking. Like I watch him just to pass time, like everything else. I don't listen to Stephen A. Smith and say, "Oh man, that was insightful." I just listen to him as a character on TV. But anyway, man, this dude is just he says crazy things all the time when it comes to sports. But when he gets off of sports and try to talk about like real life stuff, it's even funnier and just like I don't understand what he's talking about. It's like, do these guys on TV, like entertainers, athletes, guys on people on TV that make, good chunk of money, do they understand that they living in a different world, a reality than most of us working people? And then they say stuff that just sounds like, really? What are you even talking about right now? Like, let's talk about it, man. Stephen A. Smith, he speaks out against the ESPN layoffs. So if you don't know, ESPN is going through a transition. They going different directions. They're laying people off, and it happens in every, I guess, every business um field. You get layoffs. Automotive industry, sometimes education industry that is industry education. Um, if you're a nurse, sometimes you get laid off. Like people get laid off all the time. That's just a part of, business. If you own a business, you may have to lay people off because they're probably eating into your profits. They're probably making too much money. It is what it is. But I can never, feel a certain way about people like Jaden Rose, Keyshawn Johnson, Jeff Van Gundy when them guys get laid off because it's like you guys are already millionaires. Y'all made. I mean, I'm not saying y'all made enough money, but it's like you guys are millionaires. Like you guys, it's gonna. I mean, if you didn't save your money, that's on you. But at the end of the day, you make 50 times more than the average person in this world, and we supposed to literally kind of feel a certain way because you lost your job making $1 million a year, and not being a hater. But it's just like, dude, Jalen Rose was a professional athlete, so it's like did you really get laid off and now your life has changed? It's like, dude, it's a hobby. You can go on YouTube and do the same stuff. Same thing with Keyshawn Johnson. Same thing with Jeff Van Gundy. All these guys can go on YouTube and get it popping. They probably won't make as much money as they were making for ESPN and having a comfy job, not having to worry about grinding and setting up and doing all of this. A lot of stuff was taken care of them. Like if they go to YouTube or go to independent route, they have to put more work in. But it is what it is, man. I don't think any of these guys are missing meals. And if they are, that just means that they um, are bad with budgeting money at the end of the day. But I really want to talk about the capness, if that's a word, of Stephen A. Smith. He comes in and says, I could be next. Like, dude, you're not going to be next. We know you're not next. We know ESPN is not going to get rid of you. Like, come on, man. You was just telling um, Shannon Sharp that you have, work for him. Now you told some you could be next. You knew this was coming. You probably knew who was getting laid off. You probably had some type of I guess voice of an opinion of who should be laid off. So I don't look at Stephen A. Smith as some innocent bystander that don't know what's going on, don't know if he's eating from hand to mouth, don't know what's the next thing for him. This is all cap when he says I could be next. He knows damn well he's a fixture on ESPN. He's not going to be next. If he is, I'll be shocked. But he's not going to be next. He has to do that so people can, you know, I guess take him serious, not take him serious, but can kind of trust him. Because right now, Stephen A. Smith, I mean, other people's eyes, not in mine, look like a person that probably can't be trusted. Oh, they laying off Jay Rose, they laying off Keyshawn Johnson, and they keeping Stephen A. and Jay Williams. Oh, they must be bootlicking. Oh, they must be Uncle Tommen up there. They must be snitching. whatever the case may be. But I'm not saying all that stuff. I'm just saying Stephen A. Smith put in the work. His name ring bells. He's not going anywhere. But I just don't like when he started to put like spin on stuff, like spins. Like this quote: "Don't ever, ever, ever in your life as a black person take anything for granted." I mean, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, red, yellow. You should never take anything for granted. I don't get why it has to be directed directly towards black people. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? You guys, Stephen A. Smith is doing a job that less than 1% of the population can even like um apply for. It is not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's just, you mean, it is what it is, man. I don't get that point. I don't get like no one should take anything in life for granted. I don't know why he's trying to focus in on black people. Like I told you before, when white folks catch a cold, black folks catch pneumonia. So he's basically saying when things happen, black people get the worst part of it, and it's like I don't know. I don't get it. Like they're laying off ex professional athletes. I mean, LaFonso Ellis. Then I mean, this dude didn't he play for like the Denver Nuggets or something? He played like a long time in the NBA, like 10, 12 years. It's like what is he? What? Jalen Rose. I mean, he played NBA. You got Keyshawn Johnson. He played NFL. Like Jeff Van Gundy was a coach. I mean, even though he's white, I don't know if he's Jewish, so that's the same thing. Who knows? But just saying stuff like that to try to, you know, gain some points with the black community, quote unquote, it's just ridiculous, and it makes me again look at Stephen A. Smith like he's fake, man. He stays capping. He stays just I don't know. I mean, maybe he's going through a midlife crisis right now, where he's trying to find his place because it's like he's jumping from sports to politics to current events. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like, dude, you kind of giving mixed reactions right now. Like he was talking about the shooting, I think in Philadelphia, and he was like, can we as black people stop killing each other? It's like, dude, shut up, man. Like, what are people gonna kill people regardless of what color they are? That's just human nature, man. Like, shut the hell up. Like Stephen A. Smith, I think he's over the hill, honestly, man. I think his shit, whatever stick, has run its course. Him and Skip, I just think their style of doing what they do is running its course, man. They got people on YouTube that breaks down the NBA, breaks down players a lot better than both of these guys without all the extra antics and all the extra theatrics. So, it's just a transition going on, I think, in sports media in general, man. I think people can get the same cool opinion, I guess, on YouTube or other alternative ways. They don't have to go to ESPN like they used to see what your favorite guy talk about. Because sometimes your favorite guy can be just a person on YouTube that has about 500 subscribers, 250, and they putting in just as much work, giving just as many updates, and they regular. They don't have an agenda to push. They're just pushing their own agenda, which is to get more views, subs, and popularity within the social media community, which I guess is cool, but it's a difference. So what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith is full cap saying he could be next. He's not going to be next. He's full cap trying to act like he cares about black issues. It's like, dude, you just care about yourself, and you trying to stay afloat, and you seeing where this thing is going. That's why you on YouTube right now going hard. That's why you trying to go on different like news, Fox News and things like that to possibly parlay a show there, try to expand yourself. But again, man, Stephen A. Smith, I mean, he's doing this thing. I'm not hating, but at some point in time, I just look at this guy like he's a joke, man. Like this was a complete joke. And I would say it's a what you call that? It's a what's that saying, man? You insulting people intelligence again by saying that you could be next. We know you're not next. We know you're gonna stay there. So what y'all think, man? Stephen A. Smith saying he could be next. He's trying to say that the ESPN layoffs is not fair. What you call that? Is affecting black people more than whites. and all that other good stuff. I thought I saw something too with Jalen Rose. He was breaking down the same stuff too. It's like all these guys now want to be just prophetic, intellectuals, and try to tell you how life is. But just 2 weeks ago or a week ago, ESPN was the best thing smoking. You loved it. You was working. You was having fun, and now they laid you off. Now everything's changed. Now you gotta stay woke. Now you gotta be careful when you're black because you might lose a lush broadcasting job. It's all crazy, man. People get fired every day, B. I don't understand why these guys is taking it that much harder or making it seems like it's that much of a I guess an insult or injury to them. It's like it is what it is, man. You guys are fading out, man. You're dinosaurs now. Like those big sports networks are just not needed. People just looking for entertainment. You can look at Cameron and Mace. Those guys, they just entertainment. Matter of fact, Stephen A. Smith was just on that show. It's just entertainment. It's like nobody knows who's gonna win. Nobody knows who's gonna lose. Nobody knows who's gonna be. I mean, you can generally kind of predict who's going to be the best player or kind of generally predict who's going to be probably in the championship. But 7 times out of 10, nobody knows the outcome. Like who picked the Denver Nuggets to win the championship? None of the elites, none of the top analysts, none of them guys. So it is what it is. When Joker was drafted, no analyst said this guy's going to be one of the greatest basketball players. He's a future MVP, future NBA champion, future Finals MVP. So none of these guys know more than the next guy. It's just all about your position. That's what I think. And what's your thoughts on the whole ESPN shuffle? Do you guys feel sorry for people like Stephen A. Smith, Jalen Rose? What do you think the next thing they're gonna do to keep it moving? It's your boy.